Hello, I am Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and I am with...
Job.
What?
I am Job.
He is Job. What? He is Job from Rapid Wolf Games. I have no idea what accent I am doing.
Neither do we.
I don't know. It's almost like a Robin Williams thing.
Yeah, that's why I went with I am Job.
Okay.
Miss Doubtfire.
Oh.
I am Job.
Job. Okay, and we are talking about...
Yeah, so, once again, I'm Dave from Rapid Wolf Games with...
And I am Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and we are talking about adventure card games.
Yes, the top 5 adventure card games.
These are card games which are not deck builders.
Okay, well, I didn't go with that then.
Uh-oh.
Because because the ones you listed off are deck builders.
Well, these are not games that are... I didn't put Ascension or... As I blend out of my accent, it's all hard to drop it now. It's hard to get it out really 100%. There we go. Okay, so I didn't put... I wouldn't put Ascension or Star Realms.
Fair enough.
I think adventures are games where there's something more thematic taking place.
Like a campaign.
Like a campaign, rather than these cards represent numbers. The artwork doesn't matter.
Okay, so my number 3 didn't do that then. Let's just dive in. All right.
Gets you again!
It's like you must have had Western Inventory come do some of your inventory at some point.
Yeah, I did. I saw that. Was there inventory coming in? Here's a yellow card, right? My number 5 is Bloodborne the card game. What? You haven't played this game. Bloodborne the card game is a card-based dungeon crawler. So instead of exploring through a dungeon, you are laying down cards of creatures that you fight, and then the players compete who can beat the creature first, and then can grab the blood from it, and then you get points at the game for the amount of blood that you have acquired. It's fun. The tokens are good. It's cheap. It's like $36. It's pretty simple. Doesn't have any deck building. There's card management. I wish there was cooperative elements, but the artwork is fantastic. That's number 5, Bloodborne, the card game. By the way, you'll notice a lot of my games literally have the word "the card game" on it.
Yeah. All right. So my number 5 is Apocrypha. So this is the game that Mike Selinker wanted to make when they made Pathfinder Adventure Card Game, but they didn't have the money to make it. So Paizo came to them and said, "Hey, can we use your engine for our game?" Sure. So they slapped Pathfinder on the game engine, and they made it. And what they didn't realize was how well that game was gonna sell.
Pathfinder, yeah, it was
to the point where they went through.
It's the Avatar of card games.
They did 4 core sets, and then they re-released it again, but with a whole new core set. But this time they did it right, so that going forward. But we'll get to that later. But the point behind all this is that they then decided to
Spoiler: Pathfinder's on his list.
Is that Mike and company decided to finally get around to putting out their game. Went to Kickstarter. It is a very dark alternate world game.
Yeah, if you like the modern supernatural story, like Supernatural or X-Files, or like literally throw a rock. There's 50 of them out there. I made fun of it in my review about the 30 or 40 TV shows that have dealt with modern paranormal stuff, and Apocrypha slots into that setting almost too comfortably.
Yeah. Superstition. That was another one.
Supernatural.
No, Superstition.
Never heard of that.
It's basically African American gypsy guy, basically, but supernatural. It didn't do well.
Yeah, Constantine, that was a good one.
So basically, that's what Apocrypha is, and it's a cooperative deck builder. Cooperative.
A lot of cooperation, because you can have people helping you left, right, across from you. There's tons of cooperation in that game. I think there's only way to win that game is to cooperate.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of how they changed the dice mechanic.
Oh, I like the dice mechanic.
I don't.
I do. I think it's better.
So that's my number 5, Apocrypha.
I think I will question you on the history of that.
What's that? So, what's your number 4?
Number 4 is Arkham Horror, the card game.
Fair enough. Nothing
enough.
really enough to say on that. Everybody knows what it is. Because if you haven't been living under a rock...
As many people have said, the Arkham Horror card game is better than Arkham Horror. Not only that, but they say, of course, that what they did to Arkham Horror 3rd Edition was to pull elements from the card game into it in order to try to make it a bit smoother. And of course, as according to you, they ruined it.
They did. Because now they've made it so that you can only play that once. It's a one and done now. Because when you play it, you're like... Okay, we're going to play this mission. Oh, that's right. I know what's going to happen, so we got to find this, this, and this, and this is going to happen before this happens. All right, break. Yay, we're playing a puzzle. No. There's no randomness at that point. It's just, the only randomness is, okay, so you got your 5 tokens, spread them around the board. Oh, whoop. All right, where'd the token end up that I need? Oh, it's over there. All right, cool. Well, yeah, done.
I liked it.
So,
Arkham Horror... the card game.
Coming in at number 4 for adventure card games is Shadowrun Crossfire. This basically was Dragonfire reskinned into the Shadowrun universe.
I thought Dragonfire was a reskinned Shadowrun Crossfire.
Nope.
I thought Shadowrun Crossfire came out first.
Nope.
Okay.
I
don't know why I don't own Shadowrun Crossfire, because it's a sci-fi version of Dragonfire.
Yep. But
I think it's because I hate the Shadowrun universe in general.
The small problem with that game that ended up happening was they ran into some issues with Kickstarter and getting delivery, and then when they finally delivered, they did it. One of the most cardinal, in my opinions, cardinal mistakes with a game like that, which is the card stock is different in the base game than it is in the expansions. You have plasticized cards in the base game, and you have paper cards in the expansions. So guess what you have to do? You have to sleeve it. Yeah. Shadowrun Crossfire, number 4.
My number 3 is a game that I'm going to let my other guy talk about it when it pops up on his list. It's Pathfinder the card game. Pathfinder card game is a really good game. I like what it does. I like it deals with... it's not a deck builder, although there is some very minor deck building elements to it because you can grab cards and add them to your hand. I always consider it to be a deck management game because you're going to add a couple cards and you're going to take out a couple cards, but you're trying to get cards back into your deck so it comes up again. You're trying to prevent. So instead of having a 60-card deck and you're just drawing cards, and discarding, you have a deck of like 15 cards that are really... So I love it. I love the fact that it took Magic the Gathering going... Like my 3 Magic decks are like... You know, it's like 15, 16 different types of cards in quadruplicate. So it's not really that interesting. But this one's like one of each type of card, and every one of those cards means something because it's important to you. And you're trying to get that card back into your deck by healing or recovery or finding some way. But very, very slowly, you're going to lose cards one by one. It's a neat idea. It's a neat way of doing that system. It is a little on the tricky side, and as the PK will become very clearly obvious, I think Apocrypha is the better game. Spoiler. But I think Pathfinder is definitely the bigger game. There's a lot more content for Pathfinder. Although the 2 big expansions for Apocrypha have finally been released, so you can get it now. But yeah, he'll talk about it way more than me. That's Pathfinder. On to you.
Yeah, I've got the expansions for Apocrypha.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
With you?
They're in the box.
They're in the are they unsealed?
Yeah.
Can I see them?
Yeah.
Cool.
Coming in at number 3 for me is Mystic Vale. You're gonna argue it's
no. Damn, you know what? It doesn't have a
campaign, but
it doesn't have campaign, but yeah. Edge of Darkness. I would have given you that one if you had Edge of Darkness.
You know what? I'll slot out and put in Edge of Darkness because I will.
You don't own it yet.
Yeah, I do. It is literally in transit.
No way.
Yeah, I just got my.
You got to call me over when that comes.
Yeah. So that is Edge of Darkness by AEG.
Magic
card crafting game. It's amazing.
With a dice tower?
With a dice tower. No, cube tower.
Okay.
Threat cube tower. Yeah, I'm. The wife is looking forward to this one because she loves Mystic Vale.
Yeah.
So once this one hits,
There was a reason why I didn't get it. I know. I think at the time there was something that was holding me back. Could have been money.
I think it might have been money because it wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap.
Last, so that's my number 3, Edge of Darkness by AEG Games.
Edge of Darkness. By the way, Edge of Darkness is a card building game, and now it has adventure elements. Totally counts. As you quickly make it. My number 2 pick is very similar to the Arkham card game. It's the Lord of the Rings card game. I like the Lord of the Rings card game. I've actually played it more than Arkham. Lord of the Rings card game is actually quite fun. I like the fact that it is by default, it's a 2-player game, so it's really great for me and my fiance. It's cooperative. They took a similar concept of Magic the Gathering and made it cooperative. So count me in. I love the fact that you can build the decks up, but you can have them fixed decks. You have heroes, and you have a story-based adventure line, and there's some story elements, but not much. You're just kind of tracking the movie. Totally. I'm up for that. We played it a couple times. We played it a few times. Still, I have yet to play a Gandalf card. Because it's like there's like this. Everyone has a Gandalf card, which is supremely powerful. Has not seen the light of day in any of the games. Because you'll go through only, you'll lose the game by lifing out. You'll lose life in Lord of the Rings card game. Lifing out?
Nope.
What?
I was right.
What?
Pathfinder Adventure card game was 2013. Apocrypha was 2017.
Oh, Apocrypha. I want to know when the Kickstarter got launched, because the Kickstarter didn't launch 2017.
It wasn't 4 years, though.
Yeah.
All right.
But, yeah, no, that's...
Number 2.
That was Lord of the Rings card game. I enjoy it. I like the fact that you can't life out. You can life out in that game. We've not lifed out. We've actually haven't lost. But you can also lose the game by milling out. But I've never milled out my deck. I've never run out of cards. I always run out of life. Or come close to running out of life. We come close to running out of life. But yeah, I really like it. It's a fun game. Lord of the Rings is a card game. That's my number 2 pick. On to you.
Coming into number 2 is Dragonfire D&D.
Wow, what a shock.
What a shocker. This game is an amazing dungeon crawler, deck builder, cooperative. It's simple to understand, it's quick to teach, and it has ways to build your characters up because you can assign new abilities to them, and you actually put them on your character cards, thereby making your character different than any other time that character will be played. It is amazing. It is a great system. I just wish they had done it right with Shadowrun Crossfire. Sad face. Alright, on to number 1.
Smash!
Alright, take it away.
Rock always wins, eventually. It's Apocrypha. We were just talking about this. I find Apocrypha to be immense. First of all, vanilla fantasy will never make me like your game. And Pathfinder is the most vanilla fantasy out there. D&D is vanilla fantasy. And Pathfinder, we want to be another variation of D&D. Yeah, but you're still vanilla fantasy. And whenever anyone tries to tell me anything about Pathfinder's uniqueness, I'm like, no. Pathfinder is vanilla fantasy. As just because you have better artists than Wizards of the Coast does not mean that you're any different than Wizards of the Coast. You're just it's just vanilla fantasy. Pathfinder just vanilla. Dragonfire is vanilla. And I'm not a fan of vanilla fantasy, which is the reason why any board games or any games period that try to break that trend by switching up the monsters, switching up the setting, playing with it. I mean, that's why Eberron was one of the greatest breaths of fresh air for D&D, because it was at least slightly different. And the games that people talk about in D&D that are ones people really love, Dark Sun, right? And stuff like Spelljammer. They don't sell well, but people talk about them very highly. People go, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to play." Like, what's your favorite setting? Forgotten Realms. Nobody likes Forgotten Realms. They settle for Forgotten Realms because it's just completely vanilla, and it works because that's why vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor, because a lot of people like vanilla, and that's why I think a Pathfinder or a D&D based game that doesn't play around with its theme is never going to get really high on my list when it comes to thematics or story. And Apocrypha, of course, is vanilla supernatural. It does the exact same thing, but it's attacking a much smaller genre, which is that supernatural modern story. But I'll give it credit for play. They're still playing in that sandbox, which does not get. I can't think of another modern Supernatural board game that's not just a board game adaptation of those shows.
Touch of Evil. Touch of Evil.
Okay. Think of 4 more. But the point is that there aren't a lot. There are way more fantasy
Folklore.
games.
Well, not
Folklore's
modern.
not modern.
No. Neither is Touch of Evil.
Well, then I'm not thinking the other one either. I like the idea. I like the fact that you can have a bat. I like the fact that there's the Necronomicon is quite literally someone put the slipcover for the D&D Monster Manual over the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. It quite literally an illustration of that. I like some of that stuff like that. I like the neatness of you building this halo of cards around your central character to give you abilities and memories that help you flesh out your character through these random cards. I think that's unique. Pathfinder doesn't have that. I like the fact that you rolling dice 6 instead of other dice, so the game plays around with having to give you other dice and you get to do rerolls based on what other players do. I think that's good. That's not in Pathfinder. I think Apocrypha is the better game. Mechanically, it's a better game. I think Pathfinder was too stuck on using the Dungeons and Dragons dice, which are statistically not a good idea. I like the multiple die 6s and the successes required. I think those work better. I like the fact that you only take 3 number results from Apocrypha. You can only get the results of 3. So you can roll like 6, so you have a much better chance. You're talking about advantage. Rolling advantage, you get the top 3 rolls. Brilliant. That's Apocrypha. Number 1 for a card game. And now this guy's going to talk about Pathfinder for 5 minutes.
No. But my number 1 is Pathfinder Adventure Card Game. And I will disagree.
This is it. This is the debate. Come on, tell me.
I like the dice mechanic better because there's something awesome about it. It's like, okay, I'm going to use this ability and this ability. Oh, you're going to give me a blessing. Oh, you're going to give me a blessing. Now I'm throwing 15 dice. I know statistically with these 15 dice, I have a lot better chance of getting that 32 I need to beat this monster, as opposed to going, okay, well, I'm going to be throwing 7 dice, but I only get to keep 3, so technically the highest I can get is 18. Sure.
But the goal's only going to be 12.
Yeah. I still feel that the Pathfinder has a better scale-up mechanic than the Apocryphal game does.
See, for me, I've been in these 2 situations, and one of them annoyed me and one of them didn't. In Apocrypha, I have a situation where I have to roll 13. And I can only use a variation of 3 to 18, well, 3 dice, to get there. Which means I'm batting above average. But because of my abilities, I get to roll 5 dice. Statistically, not really great odds.
No.
But somebody near me is giving me 2 rerolls. Which means now I get to reroll the 2 lowest dice and reroll them, hope to get higher results. Things are starting to work in my favor. Pathfinder. I have a die 10. I have a die 8, which I upgraded to a die 10. And then someone gives me a die 8, and then I get another die 4. I roll 3 1s. And I wanted to punt that game across the room. Because
sometimes you just suck, that's all.
Yeah, I know, but statistically, it's harder to get 5 1s.
Yeah.
And then I get to re-roll them, but you can't.
I'm okay with the rolling the 1s because that's just straight up D&D and Pathfinder. Sometimes you roll
D&D and Pathfinder aren't good mechanical games.
But sometimes you roll that 1, and I've sat here the other night and watched my gaming party roll 1 after 1 after 1 after 1, and it's like statistically that is freaking impossible. You should not be able to roll that many 1s on D20, but I've seen it happen. So when I'm playing Pathfinder Adventure Card Game and I roll 1s, it's just like, yeah, that happened. So
I played Apocrypha 3 times. We haven't lost. I lose Pathfinder way more.
How do you lose?
Because the exact same reason that I just mentioned.
I never lose.
I lose a lot at Pathfinder.
I time out, but I never lose.
What do you mean time out?
I run out of cards on the clock, but I never lose. No, it's just you exhausted the time.
Well, that's still losing.
No. If you look it up in the book, that's not losing. You've just ran out of time. That's what they call it. You ran out of time. It's like, oh, try again. It's grinding, like an ERPG.
That's still a loss.
No.
Because when I say I've lost at Pathfinder, it's because I've generally timed out or I've had characters die.
Yeah, no, I time out all the time. I've never had characters die. But even when I time out, I still get something because I'll gain cards and stuff. So I'm still making my character better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, maybe I just had bad experiences with Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So that is my number 1 pick. That's your number 1 pick. My number 5 is Bloodborne. Number 4 is Arkham Horror. Number 3 is Pathfinder. It's not a bad game. I think Apocrypha is better. Number 2, Lord of the Rings. Number 1, it's Apocrypha.
All right, number 5 is Apocrypha. Number 4 is Shadowrun Crossfire. Number 3 is Edge of Darkness. Number 2 is Dragonfire. And number 1, the better game, is Pathfinder Adventure
We're
Card
going
Game.
to fight for the top, for the quick take on that one. So I have been Chris.
I've been Dave, and remember, the rules are just a suggestion. Play the game how you want to play it, and make sure you play Pathfinder Adventure Card Game.
Apocrypha.